Hello everyone and welcome back to Kickstarter in the current year, where today's project was brought to the Discord by Darren M. It's simultaneously an interesting and extremely dull project. It's an interesting project because it's about freaking Bigfoot in Hollywood, whoa, but it's actually very dull because this is the man behind it. And he might not look like it, but you'll see. Urban Bigfoot movie / documentary. It only asked for $20,000. It's about to fail. It's raised $500 and it's got 6 days to go, so it's not gonna happen. I mean, a part of the reason why is pretty clear. If you scroll down on the project, you'll see that there's nothing here. There's this like 3 short paragraphs, the risks and challenges, and for some reason a filled out use of AI section, which by the way is going to be stupid as well. So let's just get into this.
Hi, my name is Damian Stevens and I'm a graduate of the California State University Northridge program in radio, television, film. I did that in 1998, many years ago. And since then I've worked in radio, TV, and film. I worked for K-Rock 106.7. FM. I worked in TV. I worked for Mundos, the sister station to Telemundo. I also worked for like HBO and some other TV stations. And then I also made my own film. It's called Girl Meets Boy. If you want to look up a movie and watch it, it's pretty good, I think. And if you hate it, you don't have to. You can think, well, maybe he's better. Like in college, I worked at the Palace, which is on Hollywood and Vine. It's a big nightclub, 2,000 people, concerts, all that stuff. And then I lived, if you look at a map,
he just keeps going. Yes, I get the point is that you are listing off your credits. You're telling us why you have experience, why you can make this movie, what have you been doing before this, and that's completely fine. I understand that, and in fact, I commend that in a sense that a lot of Kickstarter projects would do better if they included something like this, if they had something to show. How do I avoid product placement? Can't, it's on both sides. To sort of show that they're not just nobody, that they're actually capable of making something out there. Girl Meets Boy. It's a real movie. It's got 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb. I tried to look it up on on Rotten Tomatoes. They don't even acknowledge that it exists. So, yeah, I'm not gonna. You still made a movie. You're right. It's just that it certainly doesn't speak for the quality of it, for the quality of your future project. If you got a movie that got a 3.8 on average, and you're out here saying, I think it's pretty good, but maybe my next one will be better. It's not the height of introspection there. Also, when, you have a pitch video that's 4 minutes, and 3 minutes of that is you rambling into the camera about all your stuff you've done in Hollywood, it's really goddamn uninteresting, actually. Your life story could be phenomenal, it could be wonderful. Condensing it into this 3-minute rant is heinous.
I lived, if you look at a map of Hollywood, so that's Hollywood and Vine. So we all know Hollywood and Highland, right? Very famous intersection. So I lived on Sunset and Highland. So if you imagine Highland cuts through Hollywood Boulevard, also cuts through the Sunset Strip. So
you might have the thought in mind that, surely this geography, surely these streets and everything, that's gonna be a relevant little detail in the rest of this.
Always walking around, going to nightclubs, going to bars, going to comedy clubs, going to movies, just doing even shopping. I mean, the grocery stores, they're open 24 hours a day.
You even went shopping? What the I genuinely feel like I'm having a slight aneurysm. This is a project about Bigfoot. It's about Bigfoot. There's Bigfoot in this project, and he's talking about how he went to 24-hour grocery shops. What the
10 million people, right? And if you ask those 10 million people about that wilderness between the city if you ask enough people, they will say they see weird stuff. So I started putting out feelers. I started taking my camera. I started interviewing people. And sure enough, I found more than a dozen people who have seen Bigfoot.
I mean, it is pretty wild, pretty remarkable, right? Like, oh, you had a 12 Bigfoot sightings in a city of 10 million. It's pretty interesting. It's almost remarkable in some way. But, like, obviously they must have seen the real Bigfoot. Because, I mean, if it was just a guy in a suit, right? If it was just someone pretending to be Bigfoot, acting like Bigfoot, what's the last place you would expect to see someone acting and dressed up in a costume, pretending to be Bigfoot? The last place, obviously Hollywood. You would never see that happening in Hollywood. It has to be the Bigfoot.
So, we have over a dozen sightings on record, on video, and we have all those people who are telling their story of how they got it, what took place. So
I really like that part. I like the part where the word Bigfoot just sort of scrolls up across the screen for some reason. I think that's a really neat little editing thing he must have picked up during his over 20 years in Hollywood. You know, instead of just talking about your subject matter, instead of showing some video footage that's relevant, instead of doing anything with audio or anything, just have like one or two words about what you're talking about, scroll across the screen, just what the video's about, just have that scroll across the screen slowly, and you nailed it.
I will lose my job when this movie comes out. I work for the government right now, and once they see what I've done and what I've exposed, there's a good chance that I will be unemployed, and I'm betting my whole life on this. I know my friends, my family will probably not speak to me when this movie's released. That's a given. They're gonna say you're crazy, and why did you do this? And the government might hunt me down, or maybe just some mafia guys.
With everything else you've said in this video, obviously it's insane, but I think I cannot look past the part where you basically imply that Bigfoot has mob ties and is being hidden by the government. I certainly believe the part where you say that your family won't speak to you anymore after this whole thing happens, because I've had the joy of listening to you for the past 3 minutes, and yeah, I think they would certainly enjoy the excuse. Is that a little too mean? Do I care? So the story section is bull. It is, again, 3 paragraphs that mostly, and actually almost entirely, just recap a little bit of his own past. It's not very interesting. Mr. Damian Stevens, get a job. I mean, you got a job. You work for the government, and they're gonna kill you because of Bigfoot. Risks and challenges. The movie's being edited, but I don't have money to pay the editor or for music, titles, subtitles, and marketing. I want to make sure I do it right and the movie gets a professional look. So your risks and challenges section is the ever classic, I got a plan, I just need money, Arthur. Honestly, my cats are having like zoomies and fighting, and that's way more interesting than anything in this video. It's always amusing to see an extremely bare-bones Kickstarter project, like with nothing in it, with no images, with no anything, and then seeing like a written-out use of AI section, because you realize that this person does not know how to make the basic Kickstarter project. They didn't know to uncheck or check the little box that says, hey, I don't use AI, so I don't need this section, because what it says is, I only have video footage of Bigfoot and do not have still photos. What? I will enhance the video stills or create clear photographs for marketing purposes. No AI will be in the movie. It's all real stuff, folks. And then the second part, that says, hey, do you have the consent of owners of the works that will be used to use the AI portion of the project? He looked at that question and he didn't think, oh, clearly I've used this section wrong because it's asking me about AI content that I do not have. Yes, this is video footage I shot or I interviewed the folks who shot the video. You, really nailed it. And finally, I think the most heinous part of this project, yes, there is a more heinous part, are the reward tiers, because some of you, both fans of my content and Ian back in the day, you might remember this this one little throwback here, little project about the Cats vs. Dogs calendar, or whatever the hell it was, where you essentially donated either in a tier that's like, I like cats, or I like dogs in a different tier. And then the point was to compete and see which side wins. Woo. So Stevens here, he saw that train wreck of a project that went nowhere, and he thought, hey, that's pretty good. And so now he has made a bunch of tiers, and they're basically all divided in either I believe in Bigfoot, I don't believe in Bigfoot, or I'm Bigfoot agnostic. And the minimum tier is $25. For $25, you get your name in the credits, and for a little bit more, for what was it, $100? Also, wait, what? That's actually kind of funny. I don't know why, I don't know the reasoning behind this, but if you're agnostic or a skeptic, that's $25. But if you're a true Bigfoot believer, a begeeber, you gotta pay twice as much. You gotta pay $50 for some reason. But if you pay $100, you can be a troll or public believer, meaning that you get 45 characters to write out why you do or don't believe in Bigfoot in the credits. And all of this is so unbelievably stupid because this is about Bigfoot in Hollywood, right? This is about Bigfoot in Hollywood? So for one, no one's gonna be a true Bigfoot Hollywood Bigfoot believer, unless they're insane, unless they're one of the 12 people, which, by the way, it's kind of funny that you couldn't even get the 12 people. Couldn't get even 12 people on board that are in the goddamn video, in the film, to be like, yeah, I'll pay like $25 to have this film that includes me come out. Couldn't be bothered. If anyone were to believe that there's Bigfoot in Hollywood, surely they would only do that after provided evidence, which only you possess. So how are we supposed to believe or be skeptical or agnostic about Bigfoot when the only information regarding this instance of Bigfoot is your information that we don't have? And obviously then you got a bunch of tiers that are like, hey, you get to, at the end, put something in the movie, you can put an advertisement in my movie, you can ruin my movie for $500 because I don't care. Another classic Kickstarter film staple. That's gonna do it for today's video. I think Bigfoot is real. I've seen him on the show Smiling Friends, and that sort of just checks out. Where's that a Yeti? Is a Yeti different from a Bigfoot? It isn't Dwarf Fortress. That's all I know. See you next time. Like, comment, and subscribe, and whatever. A bunch of people, but Warner Bros. Is currently suing a small, like, town community for building a statue of a leg lamp. And I'm gonna say, I'm